The afternoon sun filtered through the large windows of Murphy's family diner, casting a golden glow across the red vinyl booths that had welcomed countless families over the decades. Robert Mitchell sat in the corner booth, his expensive suit slightly out of place among the everyday patrons, watching his 8-year-old daughter Emma navigate her wheelchair up to their usual table. Emma had blonde hair that caught the light just so, and eyes that sparkled with curiosity despite the challenges she faced each day. Born with spina bifida, she had spent more time in hospitals than playgrounds, but her spirit remained unbroken. Robert had learned to see the world through her eyes, and it was often more beautiful than the corporate boardrooms where he spent his days. "Daddy, can we sit by the window?" Emma asked, her small hands gripping the wheels of her chair with determination. "Of course, sweetheart," Robert replied, his voice soft with the kind of tenderness that only comes from unconditional love. As they settled in, a young waitress approached their table. Sarah Chen was 24, with kind eyes and a smile that seemed genuine even after what must have been a long shift. She wore the diner's uniform with pride, her dark hair pulled back in a neat ponytail, and moved with the efficiency of someone who took her work seriously. "Good afternoon," she said warmly, crouching down to Emma's eye level without hesitation. "I'm Sarah. What's your name, beautiful?" Emma beamed. "I'm Emma. This is my daddy. We come here sometimes when I get out of the hospital." Robert watched as Sarah's expression didn't change, didn't show pity or discomfort. Instead, she simply nodded as if Emma had told her the most natural thing in the world. "Well, Emma, I'm honored to be your waitress today. What sounds good to you?" As Emma studied the menu with intense concentration, Robert found himself studying Sarah. In his world of business meetings and profit margins, genuine kindness had become rare. Most people, when they met Emma, either stared or looked away too quickly. "Sarah did neither. I want the mac and cheese," Emma announced. "But I might need help. My hands get shaky sometimes." "That's perfectly fine," Sarah said without missing a beat. "Mac and cheese is one of my favorites, too. Would you like some apple juice to go with it?" Robert ordered a coffee and a sandwich, but found himself more interested in watching the interaction between his daughter and this young woman who seemed to understand something many adults missed: that Emma was a child first, and her disability was just one part of who she was. When their food arrived, Robert noticed Emma struggling with her fork. Her fine motor skills had been affected, and some days were harder than others. He started to lean forward to help, but Sarah was already there. "Emma, would you mind if I helped you with a few bites?" Sarah asked gently. "I used to help my little brother when he was learning to use a fork." Emma nodded gratefully, and Robert watched as Sarah sat down beside his daughter, carefully helping her eat, while keeping up a cheerful conversation about Emma's favorite cartoons and the drawings she loved to make. There was no rush, no impatience. Sarah made it seem like the most natural thing in the world, as if she had all the time in the universe for one little girl who needed a helping hand. "You know," Sarah said, wiping Emma's chin gently, "you have such a pretty smile. I bet you make your daddy very proud." "He tells me that every day," Emma giggled, looking over at Robert with pure adoration. Robert felt his throat tighten. This young waitress, who probably made minimum wage and dealt with difficult customers all day, was showing his daughter more genuine care than some of the highest-paid specialists they'd encountered. As they finished their meal, Emma asked if she could draw Sarah a picture on her napkin. With a red crayon from her backpack, she carefully drew 2 stick figures holding hands. One tall, one in a wheelchair. "That's you and me," Emma explained, handing the napkin to Sarah with pride. Sarah accepted the drawing as if it were a priceless work of art. "This is beautiful." "Emma, I'm going to treasure it." When it came time to pay the bill, Robert left a generous tip, but he knew money couldn't really capture what he'd witnessed. As they prepared to leave, Sarah knelt down one more time to say goodbye to Emma. "It was so wonderful meeting you, Emma. I hope you'll come back and see me again soon." "I will," Emma promised. "You're my friend now." As Robert pushed Emma's wheelchair toward the exit, he turned back to see Sarah carefully tucking the napkin drawing into her apron pocket. In that moment, he made a decision that would change both of their lives. The next morning, Robert made some phone calls. By that afternoon, he had learned that Sarah was working 2 jobs to pay for nursing school, that she came from a family of modest means, and that despite her struggles, she had never missed a shift at Murphy's Diner. He also learned that she volunteered at the Children's Hospital on weekends, reading to young patients and helping with activities. A week later, Robert returned to the diner with Emma, but this time he carried an envelope. Sarah greeted them with the same warm smile, and Emma immediately began chattering about a new book she was reading. After they finished their meal, Robert handed Sarah the envelope. "What's this?" she asked, puzzled. "Open it," he said quietly. Inside was a check for $50,000, along with a letter explaining that her nursing school tuition was now paid